Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannon's Insurance, Penrite Oil, HARE&FORBES Machinery House, and Pace Farm Eggs.
Hello and welcome to another incredible automotive museum here in the United States on this week's episode of Classic Restos. Remember that awesome song by Billy Joel, a song with meaning, Allentown? Well, that is the exact place here in Pennsylvania that I've brought you to here today. Around about a 1 3/4 hour drive up the interstate from Carlisle, welcome to the amazing America on Wheels Museum. Yep. And here's another place that just cannot wait to see me. In conjunction with Carlisle Events, I'm pleased to be able to bring you some of the most diverse and comprehensive automotive collections and museums in the world. With due respects, you just don't find this type of thing driving through regional Australia. But this is about history, the country where automotive design and manufacture on a mass scale began. No other country has ever had the same amount of vehicle manufacturers, ones that have risen and ones that have fallen, than the United States. America on Wheels is more than a place where people can gather to learn, have fun and celebrate firsthand America's love affair with the automobile and other means of transportation. It is, like all museums, a community treasure that provides a welcoming environment for entertainment and a resource for lifelong learners. The cars and trucks on display for our enjoyment have touched all of our lives in some way, and are proud to employ them to educate all who visit. And inside America on Wheels, it's not just about cars, it's about history, from where it all began through to concepts into the future. Look at the size of this place. Where am I going to start? Well, I think I know, and it's going to be right here. There is not much point of having some of the most delightful cars in the world to drive without a highway system to carry the masses. In 1955, the Eisenhower government soon saw how the European autobahns worked. Not to be outdone, the United States began their freeway systems, the very thing that started knocking out and bypassing the likes of Route 66. This booth here, as you walk in, shows examples and pictures of the early days, comprising the inception of the American highway systems and the Pennsylvania Turnpike, when life was just a little slower than how we know it today. Moving through the racing section here at the America on Wheels Museum. Now, when it comes time for home-built inspiration, nothing back in the era came much sweeter than the clock teaser. Car builder and driver Gary Peters constructed this dragster during the winter of 1963-1964 in the Piston Pusher Garage in the Lehigh Valley. Now, you'll note the square tube frame chassis of the car. That was specifically built for flexibility and weight transfer from the rear to front upon takeoff from the line. It's powered by a trusty small block Chevy engine, and this car was campaigned several nights a week for approximately 5 years. It was also campaigned in the senior dragster class on local raceways in NHRA-sponsored events. Now, the top speed, you may be wondering, achieved by this car, 138 miles an hour in an elapsed time of 9.55 seconds. And the investment back in the day by this guy here was approximately $10,000. I enter the northern gallery of the museum here. This particular section is an automotive historian's dream. This section represents where the automobile all began. This gallery features vehicles used for personal transportation spanning over a century. Here you can view many of America's first in automobile history, such as one of the first American cars ever made, an early electric car, and the first type of car to be made by methods of mass production. With me now, I have the pleasure of having Alan Gross, who is with the Board of Directors here at the America on Wheels Museum. How are you, Alan?
Good, Fletch. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm taken by your museum. I come here often. It's a beautiful place. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. We're proud of it.
Now, Alan, tell us about the museum.
All right. We're open now 7.5 years and about 45,000 square feet. Probably have around 75 vehicles in the museum at any given time. We're very education driven. You have to take notice as you walk around. There's a lot of exhibitry that goes along with all the cars and a lot of artifacts as well. And everything is very well labeled. So if you're really into history and just don't want to see a bunch of cars lined up, this is the place to go.
This is what I like. I mean, you can walk through the doors knowing nothing, but leave knowing something.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And if you want to really read all the labels and digest everything, you can spend a whole day here easily.
What I love about the museums here in the United States is presentation all the way. The timeline displays here, the section we're standing in now, where it starts from the first of a steam engine and then makes its way around, and looking at the timeline, it just takes you back to where one could only imagine what it must have been like back then.
Oh, absolutely. This is our North Gallery, and we call this our Technology Gallery. Like you said, it follows the different forms of propulsion from, well, the oldest vehicle is a Studebaker carriage, so that was horse-drawn. So it follows the propulsion through the gas engine, the electric cars, which were very popular back then. We have a couple Stanleys in here, of course, steam. We've got the newer hybrid cars, and we have a hydrogen fuel cell display here as well. We're always concerned about getting the younger generation involved in this. We have a restoration learning center upstairs, and we built that so people could come in and see what it's like and follow the progression of actually restoring one of these vehicles, because we always get the questions, well, how do you make them look so nice? Okay, so we built this restoration learning center just to show them that, and we also have a lot of school classes coming in, and we want to introduce the restoration of vintage cars as an alternative for the people that are involved in or interested in getting involved in either auto body or auto mechanical school. Hey, there is an alternative, and it's a very lucrative one, and most of the restoration shops in the country need those skill sets, and they're hard to find.
Alan, thank you so much for your time. Now, the America on Wheels website, down the bottom of the screen right now, go online, check them out. These guys, they do an awesome job. Alan, thank you very much again.
Fletch, appreciate it. Thanks for coming in.
You are watching this week's episode of Classic Restos, the America on Wheels Museum in Pennsylvania, United States of America. Of course, it's thanks to Shannon's Insurance, Penrite Oil, HARE&FORBES Machinery House, and Pace Farm Eggs. I hope you're enjoying the episode as much as this guy. Back with more right after this.
In 1926, Australia's Penrite Oil Company was established. Almost 90 years of research, development and refining under the harsh Australian conditions has made Penrite Oil what it is today. Precision, performance, reliability and protection. Championship winning products. Trust Penrite.
I spend a lot of time out here. The RT Charger's the real deal. An E49. Remember A-Charger? I've always got projects on the go, so Shannon's laid-up cover helps protect my restorations. I'm Mopar through and through. It's a passion Shannon's understands. I wouldn't insure my cars and bikes with anyone else.
Shannon's, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
If you need a new piece of equipment for your workshop, you need HARE&FORBES Machinery House. From a garage jack through to a lathe, HARE&FORBES has the range. And HARE&FORBES Machinery House are Australian owned, established since 1930. You will be greeted by friendly, helpful staff, and you can buy from anywhere online at machineryhouse.com.au. HARE&FORBES Machinery House. Find your closest store at machineryhouse.com.au. Moving through this wonderful museum, I have to say something though. These museums are not what they are without guys like this. Now we have Gordon. Now a little bird tells me, Gordon, that you're very good at what you do as a volunteer here at the museum. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, Fletch.
I got the sir before the Fletch. That's all right. And how many years have you been doing this for, Gordon?
8 or 9 since it began. Yeah. Yes.
That's good. He's been here from day one. That's awesome. Now, speaking of something from day one, behind us, this Mack fire truck. What an incredible piece of machinery. What can you tell us about that, Gordon?
Well, Fletch, this was built by Mack and delivered for the Army. It went to Baltimore on the docks to go overseas. The war ended, so it sat on the docks, just sat. And eventually, the city of Baltimore bought it, and they made a fire truck out of it.
How many years did it sit?
Long time.
And the nose, looks like a coffin nose, right?
Yes. It's the reason the nose is shaped like that, it's an AC, it's because the radiator is behind the hood.
Wow. And because it's a coffin nose, did that mean that the guys were dying to drive it?
I don't think so. They save people from dying.
You know, you think to yourself, this would have been forward progression back in the time. It would have been quicker than a horse. But you could imagine being in a burning building and waiting for one of these trucks to come and save you. I mean, I guess back in the time it was classed as fast.
Well, that's right. It was very fast, but it was a chain drive also. So you could hear the chains crackling coming down the road and you knew you were about to be saved.
Gordon, we have a bit of a Mack section here. We'll walk on through and you can show us something else. Would you like to do that?
Certainly. Let's go, Fletch.
Yeah, see, this guy here, he's got one of the best jobs in the world. Tell me, Gordon, do you love being here, or is it just an excuse to get away from the wife?
My wife works here also. I can't get away from her.
That was kind of a bad question, wasn't it? All right, let's go and have a look. Gordon, this particular Mack truck here, tell us the significance as to why it's here in the museum.
Well, it's got to do with UPS packaging. Number one, they were a big supporter of Mack trucks. They purchased a lot for their fleets. And this particular truck is the short cab model, which gave them the ability to handle a longer trailer because they had rules of the road. The overall length of the trailer and truck, or the truck and the trailer, were set. So in order to gain more carrying capacity, they had a shorter cab.
Wow. Back in a time when the United States of America was well and truly on top of their game, weren't they?
Yes, they were. Very much so.
This is about the only time that you'd want to stand in front of a Mack when it wasn't running, right?
Exactly right. Yeah. This baby will hit you hard.
Push into next week.
Yeah, right.
All right, let's go.
Okay, Fletch, here we go.
Well, Gary, we've gone from Mack trucks to bikes now, even a vintage bike collection going on in the back here.
We have everything. Everything for the enthusiast.
Anything that's got wheels and an engine.
Right. Got wheels, interested, we have it.
What can you tell us about these bikes?
Well, these are bikes from the early 1900s. And if you can look at those and appreciate the workmanship that they had back then when there were no high-tech machines and CNC machines and everything else, these guys had their act together. They knew what they were doing, and basically hammer and chisel. That's what they did.
I think to myself what it would be like to be on a push bike at around about, 100 miles an hour. Now, back in the early 1900s, one of these guys on one of these bikes did over 100 miles an hour. It seems hard to believe.
Some of those things really flew. I mean, they had motors in them that were hand-built, not manufactured like today. And one by one, they put the pieces together.
This pedal car scene, I mean, I can remember as a kid years ago, these things were left out on the street, like for a council cleanup. I mean, they were put in dumpster bins, but now they're like thousands of dollars when they're restored, right?
Exactly right. These things are the new hot rod for children. The few people that did hang on to them, put them in the garage, in the attic, now they're reaping the benefits of it.
Walking through the wonderful America on Wheels Museum, all the themed areas, I love it. We've got a garage here. I love the neon over there, Gordon. Why can't I fix my car anymore? What's all that about?
Well, years ago, the years of this garage, you could fix your car. But with all the technology and electronics that they put in them, no longer can you do it yourself.
So really though, back in the 50s and 60s, they were starting to make out to the general public then that you've got to bring your car to the dealer.
That's exactly right, Fletch.
Now, we've got authentic tools and workshop equipment here, no doubt from around the local area here in Allentown. Would that be correct, Gordon?
Yes, it is. It's been taken from the garages that went out of business, and most of them were kind enough to donate them to us so we could keep this show on the road.
The car on the hoist, what is it? What can you tell us about it?
Well, that's a very interesting car. It's a 1948 Chevrolet convertible, the second most expensive car in Chevrolet's line in 1948. The only thing that was more expensive than a convertible was a station wagon with a wood grain, Fletch. I mean, that's the most expensive car in the line.
Gordon, back in an era too where everything was presentation. I mean, even the themed mechanic there with his overalls, he's wearing a tie.
Let me tell you something, that is realistic. I used to work in the Chevrolet garage back in the 50s, and they mandated that the mechanics just wore, they called them shop coats. Yeah. They didn't have coveralls, they had shop coats, and every day you put a clean one on. Yeah. So you made a presentation to the public.
Good on you, Gordon. Stay right where you are. The amazing America on Wheels Museum here in Pennsylvania, and you can see it firsthand on a Fletch tour in 2016. Have a look at this.
You deserve a Fletch tour. See the amazing Ford, GM and Chrysler Nationals at Carlisle Events, along with museums and private collections in beautiful Pennsylvania, USA. Then it's the Motown city of Detroit and its region, taking in more die-hard stuff with incredible history. Rounding off with the Woodward Dream Cruise, the largest moving car cruise in the world.
One of the best things about a Fletch tour is you're really looked after.
It's something I've always wanted to do.
Very well organised. The tour company that put it together was great.
Go to classicrestos.com.au and click on the Fletch Tours icon for more information. Hope you're enjoying today's show. Back with more after this.
Every weekend around Australia, motoring enthusiasts get together to share their passion for cars and bikes. It's a passion that brings us together. All sorts of people, all sorts of cars and bikes. From the classics of today to the classics of tomorrow. At Shannon's, we understand enthusiasts. So when it comes to insurance, it's got to be Shannon's. Shannon's, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
Penrite, Australian-made, family-owned and operated. Make premium quality engine and racing oils, warranty-approved coolants, automatic transmission and manual gear oils, a complete range of engine and fuel additives, heavy-duty and industrial products for every application. Visit penriteoil.com for more information. Penrite, Australian-made for Australian conditions since 1926.
If you need a new piece of equipment for your workshop, you need HARE&FORBES Machinery House. HARE&FORBES Machinery House have showrooms around Australia and New Zealand that will have you browsing for hours. See the largest range of industrial and workshop DIY tools. You will be greeted by friendly, helpful staff, and you can buy from anywhere online at machineryhouse.com.au. HARE&FORBES Machinery House. Find your closest store at machineryhouse.com.au. You know, transporting a vehicle from another country back to Australia can be a daunting thought. Sure, you may have your shipper taken care of in Australia, but what about within the United States, getting your vehicle back to the port. Well, it goes without saying that your classic vehicle is an investment and has to be well cared for during transit. And at Roadrunner Auto Transport, their goal is to make vehicle shipping as fast, safe and cost-effective as possible. Roadrunner Auto Transport is a leading provider of nationwide door-to-door auto shipping services. They will arrange and transport your vehicle with care from start to finish. They provide reliable car transport for both individuals and companies, moving thousands of vehicles on a monthly basis. This is where I believe that Roadrunner Auto Transport will meet your every need within the United States. And if you happen to be a Mopar guy, I'm pretty sure you'll agree it's a pretty cool name for a transport company, even if you are shipping a Cadillac. See more at roadrunnerautotransport.com and rest easy. Moving through, as you do here in a beautiful museum. Now, Gordon, we've come upstairs. What room is this?
Well, Fletch, this is our restoration area, restoration garage, call it. And it's dedicated to a gentleman that's in the business, but he was kind enough to help us get this together to show the average guy what he does.
It's so interesting. As soon as you walk through the door, we've got a block over there upside down. You can have a look at that. We've got engine parts over there, manifolds sitting on the bench, gearbox down there, another engine. I've got a side valve 6 sitting down there. What's the deal with the old car there? Now, 1963 looks like was the last year of its registration. What's going on there, Gordon?
Well, if you look behind me, you'll see one just like it that's completely restored. And the reason that we have that one is to show you a before and after. That is the late 30s or middle 30s car. Only well-to-do people really had them at the time, all right? And what we have that here is to show you what it looked like when it was new. The car really is a picture-perfect restoration.
Well, Gordon, we've come upstairs now, and if there's a room in the whole of the museum that's going to make you drag your jaw along the ground, it's going to be this one. It's amazing what's up in here.
Yes, Fletch, this is our changing gallery. The room is designed to have a different theme several times a year to actually keep the people's interest. Yeah. And change is the big thing. We've got cars in here that are mainly original on this display. This is our pickup truck display. From time to time, we've got motorcycles, custom cars.
Don, as a retired guy, what do you love the most about working here as a volunteer?
Well, I enjoy the automobiles and the people that come in here to look at them. And we try, and in fact I try, to do my very best of presenting them in a way that is professional. This is my home. They've been good to me and I've been good to them, I think, or I hope. But rest assured, everyone involved with this museum gives it the 100%.
Gordon, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on this week's episode of Classic Restos here at the America on Wheels Museum. You really are a master of your craft. You're an awesome volunteer. You're an all-round good guy. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Oh, Fletch, thank you very much. The pleasure's all mine, believe me. But I've looked forward to this, and I want to thank you on behalf of the museum for taking your time to do this presentation. It means a lot to the museum. Me personally, it means a terrific thing, and I want to just say thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I'll let the people around here know what we're faced with you the next time you come.
Know what they're faced with. Well, what can we say to that? You're awesome, and you know, you're one of the good guys, and you go back many decades, and he's the sort of guy where you could really sit around for many, many hours, days, weeks, and talk to virtually non-stop. Well done, Gordon. You take care of yourself, and again, thank you so much.
Well, you too, Fletch, from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Well, that was a great little episode, wasn't it? And I'm sure you'll agree that Gordon is a dead set legend, along with all the other volunteers here at the America on Wheels Museum. And you can see it in 2016 on a Fletch tour. In the meantime, classicrestos.com.au is the website that you need for the DVD boxed sets of the show, Classic Restos merchandise, contact information on joining us on a Fletch tour in 2016, Route 66, and of course the major sponsors as well. As I say at the end of every show, until next week, no matter where you're watching from, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch, signing off from Allentown in Pennsylvania, United States of America, and I thank you very much for watching. You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/ClassicRestosTV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au. Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, Penrite Oil, HARE&FORBES Machinery House, and Pace Farm Eggs.